Hi, this is Sally from Rapid. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to look at the Smartwaiver Wizard, part of the integration between your Rapid gun system and Smartwaiver. Your customers sign their waivers online with Smartwaiver, and these waivers live in the Smartwaiver cloud. Our integration allows you to assign waivers to your customers in Counterpoint, making it quick and easy to get them on the range each time they visit. Our wizard allows you to match the waivers to existing customers, to create new ones with the data from their waiver, and to view the information in Smartwaiver side by side with the information in Counterpoint to enable you to manage your customer database. Let's take a look at how it works. The Smartwaiver Wizard can be accessed within Counterpoint touchscreen by clicking the Smartwaiver Wizard button. This opens the wizard. It defaults to a list of waivers completed on the current date. If there are no waivers listed, this indicates there were no waivers completed on that date. If desired, you can view waivers from a specific date by opening the calendar in the date window and selecting that date. To view waivers within a date range, click the gears to the right of the calendar to bring up a date range filter, enter the start and end dates, and click the filter button. The waivers displayed were signed during that date range. These dates enable you to view when waivers were signed, but if you're looking for a particular waiver, you can search for it in the search box. This search will look through all waivers, not just the ones on the displayed date. By entering criteria in the search box, you can search for a waiver by text fields like first or last name, date of birth, or a driver's license or ID number. As information is typed in the search box, the wizard will start to return matches. The user will select the appropriate waiver from the search results and click Next. Why don't we start with Mr. Mouse? On the next screen, Mickey's waiver appears at the top. If there are customers in the Counterpoint database that match the selected waiver, they'll be listed in the bottom portion of the screen. In this case, we see Minnie, since she and Mickey share a common address. We don't want to associate Mickey's signed waiver with Minnie, however, so we will select the Create New Customer button, and we are greeted with a message that says the customer was successfully created. Let's look in Counterpoint. Okay, there's Mickey, and let's look at what he has. All of his data came over from Smartwaiver, including his address, his phone, his email, his date of birth, his driver's license, or in this case probably just an ID, along with his signed waiver date. You'll notice the date for the waiver is 10/12/2021. All waivers come over to Counterpoint with the date that the waiver was signed. Waiver expiration is calculated in Counterpoint based on the waiver date and your store settings. We'll look at how expirations are covered for minors in just a bit. Let's see what happens when a customer already exists in Counterpoint. We know Minnie is already in Counterpoint, so let's find her. Let's highlight and select Next. Like before, we see the waiver at the top and the matching Counterpoint customers at the bottom. Let's take a look at this checkbox at the top that says Hide Customers with Waivers. It's helpful to see if a matching customer already has a signed waiver. If we check the box, we see that Mickey disappears, which is good since we just associated a signed waiver with him. Minnie, however, remains, so we know she doesn't have one. Let's highlight Minnie, and we get a new button called Associate to Selected Customer. Let's select it. We now get a new screen. This shows us side by side the data that is on the waiver and on the customer in Counterpoint. This allows the user to select what data to update. Most of Minnie's data is consistent in both places, except the waiver has her date of birth, her email, and her driver's license that are not currently part of her Counterpoint information. Any fields that are highlighted in blue will update the Counterpoint customer. Let's select Update. We get our success message. Let's click OK and go check out Counterpoint. Here's Minnie. Let's look at her data. The customer file has been updated with all of the information that was on her waiver. She has her driver's license, her email address, and her date of birth, as well as her signed waiver date. Let's go back to the wizard and take a quick look at John Doe. We can see that there is a John Doe in Counterpoint, and he has a matching driver's license and a matching birth date. If we check the Hide Customers with Waivers box to see what happens, we see he has a signed waiver. However, he has a different address. It's a good opportunity to update the Counterpoint customer file by asking John which is the correct address. When he tells us the one on the waiver is the most current, we can update what is in Counterpoint by highlighting the fields to update. Notice it will not matter if you select fields that are already part of the Counterpoint customer file. Select Update. After we get our success message, we'll check Counterpoint to see that John's address has been updated. And so it has. Let's look at our wizard one more time. I'll search for Brill. The wizard brings up Steve, his son Skylar, and daughter Piper. We can see that Steve is an adult and that Skylar and Piper are minors, indicated by the red Y in the Is Minor field. Let's assign Piper's waiver. We can see that Skylar is already a customer in Counterpoint. If we check the Hide Customers with Waivers box, we can see that there's a waiver associated with that customer. Since we don't want to associate Piper's waiver with Skylar, let's select Create a New Customer. We're greeted with a message that the customer you're creating is a minor. The parent or guardian driver's license number that's associated with the waiver will not be added to the customer entry. We click OK, and we're greeted with our success message. Once again, let's look at the results in Counterpoint. We see that Piper was created as a customer, and we also see that all of the data from Smartwaiver has been added to her customer information. When a waiver is assigned to a minor in Counterpoint, like an adult, the waiver date is the date that the waiver was signed in Smartwaiver. Counterpoint calculates the waiver expiration date as the same date the waiver would expire for an adult based on the store settings, or the date that the minor turns 18, whichever comes first. When the minor turns 18, they will need to sign a new waiver in Smartwaiver and have that new waiver assigned to the Counterpoint customer. I'm so glad you could join me today for a quick look at Rapid Gun System's Smartwaiver Wizard.